SpectreVision Radio.
So you've died in Japan. Let me help you navigate the underworld, and if we can, avoid the nastiest hells. Hey, this is Teresa Matsura, author of the Book of Japanese Folklore, and coming this fall in 2025, the Yokai Oracle deck, which you can pre-order if you'd like. And I'm here to share with you all those hidden, fascinating, and sometimes frightening corners of old Japan. Come with me as I explore strange superstitions, creepy creatures, and cultural curiosities right here on Uncanny Japan. Hey everyone. I've got some massive news to share with you. Maybe you figured it out at the very top of the show today. But for 9 years, I've been researching, writing, and recording Uncanny Japan with Richard by my side, handling everything editing, sound, and tech related. And except for the incredible kindness and support of our patrons, everything has been funded out of my own pocket. I've had opportunities to join other networks before, but it never felt like the right home for this delightfully weird, heartwarmingly kind, and wickedly smart Uncanny Japan family. Until now. I'm over the moon to announce that Uncanny Japan is officially joining SpectreVision Radio. You very well might know SpectreVision as the film production company, Elijah Wood, Daniel Noah, and Lawrence Ingley. Well, SpectreVision Radio is Daniel Noah's passion project, a network of shows that touch on subjects like metaphysics, consciousness, the paranormal, esoteric traditions, creativity and the arts, as well as original fiction. It's literally a network that I want to listen to all the shows. After talking with SpectreVision Radio, hearing their excitement and seeing the other podcasts on the roster, I found this new surge of energy about this show. So there are going to be a few changes. For example, for the first time, there will be ads, but that's necessary to make the show sustainable. But I'm also going to go into more depth on the topics. I've gotten so many messages and emails through the years asking for a little bit more, but I just haven't been able to because of all the side hustles to pay the bills. Another new thing is that the release schedule will be firm now. Before it was twice a month. I'm waving my hands in the air. Someday, some date, sometime. But now they'll come out on the first and third Tuesday of the month. And finally, I'm also experimenting with making videos to put up on Spotify and YouTube, so listeners can actually see what and who I'm talking about. And for all my wonderful patrons whose support has meant everything to me and who have been the bedrock to the show for all these years, all Kitsune tier patrons and above will continue to receive episodes ad-free over on Patreon. Oh, and I'm also launching my Dashery merch shop with the Uncanny Japan logo on various things, as well as some of my own weird artwork. You can find that by going to uncannyjapanmerch.dashery.com. From August 13th, we're going to do a 3-day flash sale. Okay, I'm really excited about this next chapter of Uncanny Japan. And here's a fun metaphor that just hit me. I imagine the show as an old fox, one who's gained a new tail every year it's been around. And here it is, year 9. Clever, huh? A Kyubi no Kitsune, or Cubiko. A magnificent 9-tailed fox. Thank you so much, fellow 9-tailed foxes who have scampered alongside me all this time. Let's continue on together and make more magic. So you've died in Japan, probably from the heat, what happens next? No, not for your family or the tour group who has to deal with the wake, the funeral, and coming up with a relevant and moving eulogy, but for you personally, the deceased. Now, if you've ever visited or lived in Japan, you won't be surprised that there's going to be quite a bit of pre-hell bureaucracy, or pre-heaven bureaucracy, or even more accurately, pre-next life bureaucracy. We'll figure out your final destination a little later. Being newly deceased here isn't as simple as floating out of your body to be greeted by Great Granny Ethel and your hamster Sparky. Or, depending on your faith, finding yourself knee-deep in clouds outside a set of pearly gates, looking up at St. Peter. Or, sticking around as a ghost with unfinished business, free to toss around dinnerware, possess random people, and sneak into photographs. Or, just blinking out of existence altogether. No, it's not that easy. According to centuries of Buddhist tradition in Japan, death is the beginning of something like the most nerve-wracking job interview you've ever had. That, believe me, you're probably not prepared for. So I'm here to help, just in case. After lights out, buckle up because you're going on a 49-day harrowing journey through the underworld. That final 49th day is called Shijukunichi, literally 49 days, and a big memorial service called Hoyo will be held in your honor up here on Earth on that day. Shijukunichi is a huge deal in Japan. For one, this is the day when your ultimate fate will finally be decided. Is it heaven? Is it hell? Will you be reborn as a sea monkey or a hungry ghost? Not that your friends or family will know, although they might have a pretty good idea. This day also ends the initial mourning period for your loved ones. Oh, and sometimes the big day is called Shichi-Shichi-Nichi, 7 days, or the equally fun to say Nana-Nanoka. Those both have the same meaning, just a different pronunciation. Shichi-Shichi-Nichi and Nano-Nanoka, 7 days, because 7 times 7 is 49. Keep in mind that while you're undertaking this perilous adventure in the afterlife, your loved ones will be helping you in the world of the living by every 7 days holding small memorial services as a way to help guide you and support your soul. So what happens? Well, after that last breath, there will be a sense of confusion, a feeling of being unmoored. You'll see those grieving you, but most likely you won't be able to communicate. You're a spirit now. For the first 7 days, you just wander around. You visit your home, places you loved, people you love. Certain Buddhist deities show up and they'll guide you, but there will also be malevolent spirits hanging around and up to no good, trying to lead you astray. But hang tight. It's day 7, and your family's first memorial service will set you back on the right path. But even with their help, you can't escape the horrific duo, Gozu and Mezu. While some believe you might just float your ethereal way all by yourself to the banks of the Sanzu no Kawa, a vast gray river that separates Konoyo, this world of the living, and Anoyo, that world of the dead. Most mythology states that the first real creatures you'll meet after death are a pair of brutes named Gozu and Mezu. They resemble their names. Gozu, ox-headed demon, and Mezu, horse-headed demon, are two oni who are massive, well-muscled, and downright vicious. They are the guardians of the underworld, and they work for the king of hell. You'll meet him a little later. Yes, you will, because this isn't a mamby-pamby innocent until proven guilty. Let's all be chums and cherubs. Welcome to the afterlife. It's a little, shall we say, rough for a while. You have to prove your worth of a better life. So Gozu and Mezu will find you at the start of week 2 and escort, and by escort I mean drag you to the riverbank, kicking and screaming by your hair. Keep in mind, these two barbarians, when they aren't bounty hunting fresh souls, are enjoying their time in the depths of hell, torturing those who weren't fortunate enough to end up in a better place. The rest of your 49 days is finding out what next life you qualify for. Just to set the scene, think of every shade of gray and gloom, a wide and desolate rocky riverbank that stretches out in all directions. As you're being pulled along, you manage to glimpse up ahead at a massive tree, all gnarled and twisted. Gozu and Mezu toss your puny butt unceremoniously in front of a wretched old couple squatting under that stark, contorted tree that is utterly devoid of life. The tree has a name, Eiryoju, and those ghostly-looking wisps that you see blowing from the branches, they aren't leaves. We'll meet Eiryoju again in a second. Gozu and Mezu introduce you to the miserable couple, Datsueba and Kineo, and they too are truly dreadful, all skin and bones, wild, angry eyes, and bad attitude. In some versions, they have pointy teeth or even fangs. Right about here, I imagine Gozu or Mezu leans down and gives you a knowing wink before they bound off, saying something like, "See you later," and chuckling as they disappear into the mists. You know, because their other gig is making those souls dwelling in hell miserable for eternity. And maybe they have a sense of humor. Or maybe they don't have a lot of faith you'll pass the upcoming judgments and wind up on the end of one of their spears. So there you are, standing on the shore of the Sanzu no Kawa, meaning the river of 3 crossings. Let's leave Datsueba and Kineo there glaring at us like they are for a minute and get into this river briefly. At first, you'd be correct in thinking that the Sanzu no Kawa is basically the same as the river Styx in Greek mythology, and you'd be almost right. They are both liminal rivers that separate the land of the living from the land of the dead, and souls must cross them to continue their journey in the afterlife. But where the river Styx is kind of like a grim toll booth, the Sanzu River is a fairly terrifying karmic audit. What we know about the river Styx is that you pay a coin to Charon, a silent and spooky ferryman, to take you across. If you don't pay, you don't ride. This is why coins are placed in the mouth of the deceased, or one coin on each eye. The Sanzu River also has a fee to cross. It's 6 coins called Rokumonsen, and to this day it's steadfastly observed. Traditionally, actual coins were placed in a pilgrim's pouch and hung around the neck of the dead, or put in their hand, or just placed near their head or chest for easy access. These days, however, because almost 100% of people are cremated and metal can't go into a crematorium, a slip of paper with 6 Hmong coins printed on it is used instead. This is called Meisen, or underworld money, and it's lovingly put somewhere the beloved can find it easily. Can I just tell you the coolest thing I have ever learned about these 6 coins? The Rokumonsen. You know how families in Japan have family crests, right? Well, back in the Sengoku era, the warring states, the Sanada family, who were incredible samurai, chose the Rokumonsen as theirs. The reason is pure brilliance. Imagine you're about to go into a big battle with the Sanada clan, and the entire army shows up with their 6 coins proudly displayed on their flags and on their kabuto helmets. The message is clear. We're not afraid of death. In fact, we're ready for it. They're literally carrying their funeral money into battle, a kind of no retreat, no surrender, only victory or a glorious death. I've read that it did indeed scare the bejesus out of their enemy. So if you ever see a Japanese family crest that looks like a line of 3 coins on top of another line of 3 coins, you know that is the Rokumonsen, and that is the Sanada family. And you might not want to mess with them. Okay, we're talking about the difference between the river Styx and the river Sanzu. The big difference is that with the river Styx, everyone, if they can pay, crosses the same way. Slow ferry, creepy guy in robes. Your judgment happens after you cross. With the Sanzu 3 Crossings River, you pass one of 3 ways, depending on your sins, and that's determined by the scary-looking couple who are still standing there glaring at us. Just for the record, Datsueba means old woman who strips clothes, and Kineo means old man who hangs clothes. I'll let you guess what their jobs are. So they're here to do your preliminary screening. Datsueba will first rip off your burial kimono. Now, on one hand, clothes can symbolize your attachments to earthly possessions, and this is a kind of preparation of the soul for what comes next. But the usual story is the outfit someone is buried in is believed to absorb their karma. Every bad thing done while alive adds weight to the cloth. So now you're standing there, stark naked, and, oh look, here comes Kineo, who takes your garments and hangs them on the tree called Eiryoju, or clothing collar tree. The more sins you committed while living, the heavier the cloth, the more the branches bend. a nice morbid detail. When I first learned about Datsueba and Kineo, and this I found in much older texts, it wasn't your clothes they stripped off you. It was your skin. Even these days, it's said if you are buried with no clothing, Datsueba will flay you because skin holds sin too, I guess. So there's a hellish visual for you. Never die skinny dipping. Now, if the branch hardly moves at all, and you were a righteous dude or dudess, Datsueba will allow you to take the bridge across the river. This is a beautiful bridge. In fact, it's decorated with the 7 treasures: gold, silver, lapis lazuli, crystal, agate, coral, and pearl. It's a pleasant, safe, and quick crossing. Lucky you. If you are like medium bad or medium good, and this is the majority of people, she'll show you to a shallow crossing of the river. This is about knee-deep, but not easy. You're dealing with a very fast current and cold water, and you have to tread over slimy stones. Whatever you do, don't slip and fall. If a person, certainly not you, is truly wicked, and that's the murderers, thieves, autocrats, dictators, tyrants, warmongers, kleptocrats, oppressors, environmental destroyers, and you see what I'm doing here, the profoundly selfish, heartless, and cruel, well, they will cause the branch to bend low, and just like that, the entire river transforms into a raging, violent torrent of icy, dark water that they are forced to swim across. But this is the least of their worries. The water is also infested with gigantic underwater serpents called daija and various demons that lurk below the surface. These all take turns attacking the sinner, biting and tearing and tormenting them as the soul flails helplessly to get to the other side. Phew. So you made it to the far bank. What's next? Here come the trials. For the next several weeks, you will have to travel something called the Meido, or dark path, or land of gloom. It's treacherous and shadowy, but it's not hell, not yet. And at the end of each week, day 14, 21, 28, etc., you will come and stand before a different king of hell. There are 10 kings of hell, and they are called the Ju-O, or 10 kings. Keep in mind that your family in the living world is preparing for and conducting the small memorial services. These are crucial, as these prayers can influence a king's decision and ease your journey. If you pause for a moment and you do the math, 49 days, 10 kings, 1 week already used up, the math doesn't add up. Actually, you'll only face 7 of them. That's still a lot. And each one will review and judge your life's karma. Let me just list them so you know. Starting on day 7, the day you crossed the Sanzu River, there's Shinko-o, then Shoko-o, Solte-o, Gokan-o, Enma-dai-o. He's the main one, and he hangs out with Gozu and Mezu. Then comes Hinjo-o, and lastly, Taizan-o. King Taizan will then render the official verdict of your soul. You will be sentenced to be reborn in one of the 6 realms. I've mentioned in another episode, but remember how you always see 6 Ojizo statues lined up outside temples or along mountain paths. There is one Ojizo for each of the realms, and the realms are the highest number 1, Tendo, or the realm of heavenly beings. This is a place of immense pleasure and bliss. You are beautiful and you're powerful too. But there's a catch. You're still on the cycle of death and rebirth. So you'll only stay here until your good karma wears out. Then back to the lower realms for you. Next is Nindo. This is our world. Humans, people. This is actually considered the best of the 6, if you have to be born into one of the realms. And that's because from here, you have enough suffering to motivate you to seek enlightenment. Up there in the heavenly realm, it's rumored, I wouldn't know, that you get kind of blissed out and you don't really do anything to better your position later. Number 3 is Shurado, or the realm of Asura, or demigods. Here you'll become a cool, warrior-like being. But while that sounds fun and all, you'll be consumed with jealousy and anger, and your life will be one constant struggle of paranoia. People who spent their human lives driven by ego, aggression, and ambition without virtue usually end up here. Number 4, Chikushodo, or the realm of animals. This might not sound so bad if you're born as a poodle to a rich, doting influencer, but you don't get a say in what animal you return as, blobfish. Number 5, Gakido, hungry ghosts. This one sucks pretty bad. Beings here are tormented by an insatiable, ravenous hunger and thirst that can never be quenched. They're often depicted as ghastly creatures with distended bellies, but their tiny mouths and throats are like straws. Number 6, Jigokudo, the lowest realm and the worst. There are hot hells and cold hells, and I talk about them in episodes 21 and 22. So many hells, I had to do 2 episodes on them. People of old had the wildest imaginations. So if you have to be reborn, you want to aim for a human again, then at least you have a fighting chance. But keep in mind that ultimately your goal should be to get yourself off this karmic wheel called samsara, to not be born into any of those realms, just to be free of it. And that's what Satori or Nirvana, enlightenment is, and why people meditate and shed their attachments and etc., etc. If you're so inclined, you might want to look into that. There's still time. Now, listen to the brilliance of this mythology and where some hope can be found. There are still 3 kings of hell left, right? So even if the judgment has been passed down and it's decided that you're going to be reborn as a botfly or sea cucumber, there is an appeals phase. I kid you not. The living, your family, friends, and loved ones who you were so sweet and tender to while alive, still have the power to help you. On the 100th day after your passing, there is a memorial called Hyakunichi, or 100 days. All the merit from the prayers offered during that ceremony is sent to you, and one of the kings will review your case. If you have accumulated enough merit, your suffering can be lessened. Then, on the 1st anniversary of your demise, is the Ishuki, Again, this is a major event, just like the Hyakunichi, observed among, dare I say all, families in Japan who have lost somebody. This is when another king of hell presides and conducts yet another review of your earned merit. Once again, merit passed on from those loved ones, and certainly a hired monk who recites sutras during the memorial can add up and earn you a favorable position. Then the next and last of the 10 kings appears on the Sankaiki, which means third anniversary following the death, but actually happens on the second year following your death. Even my Japanese friends find this funny and strange. Here, too, you get another chance. If your family really loves you, you could go from, let's say, a mealworm to a CEO, maybe. These memorials are important events. They're called hoji or hoyo, and they often happen in temples or at the family's home in front of the butsudan, family altar. I've been to quite a few, and the preparation is just incredible and detailed and mind-boggling. From decorations to certain types of food or offerings that must be put out certain ways at certain times. Freshly cooked rice, water, sake, baskets of immaculate-looking fruit, boxes of traditional sweets, and lots of flowers. A monk or monks for extra positive karma are hired to recite sutras. Bells are rung, incense is offered. Lots of friends and family come to pay their respects and pray. The grave of the deceased is also visited and cleaned. More offerings, incense, flowers, and prayers there too. Okay, now let's back up 1 second and talk about Enmadayo, the main king of hell. You'll get some version of this with the other kings, but since Enma-sama is the biggie, let's set up how this will go down. He is the most important of the kings of hell, and if we're still following the this is a court case metaphor, then the first 4 kings are like preliminary judges or grand juries. They examine specific categories of sin, killing, stealing, lust, lying. Enmadayo is the Chief Justice. He looks at everything gathered and makes his recommendation, which carries the most weight. The last judge is the sentencing judge, Taizan, and he hands down the final verdict. So by walking you through Enma-sama's role, you can kind of get the gist, knowing yourself the way you do, of where you'll end up. So once again you are dragged by Gozu and Mezu. This time you're shoved into a cavernous hall. Artwork through the ages depicts different versions, but imagine walls of raw, unhewn rock. There's an unseen ceiling above you. It just kind of disappears into darkness. Light comes from torches placed here and there, and of course the fires of hell that flare up from the cracks in the stone floor. The air is thick with the scent of smoke and sulfur, something metallic that could be blood or fear itself. Before you is an enormous empty throne. On one side sits Shidoku, whose task is the recorder. He has the master scroll of your completed life in front of him. On the other side looms Shimyo, whose job is to write down the judgment that is coming. You'll also see Oxhead Demon and Horsehead Demon have taken up heavy weapons, and they flank the throne. They stand motionless, but ready to act in case you get squirrely. Oh, and there's another demon. He's holding a large mirror, and that will be important in a minute. Thunder rumbles and in stomps Masama himself. He is massive. You come up to about his knee. His skin is deep red. He wears a furious expression with angry, bulging eyes, mouth open, showing his teeth. It looks as if he's saying, "Arg." He sports a big black beard and is wearing a traditional black formal hat of a high-ranking Chinese court official that has the character O on it. King, in case you weren't sure. His robes are gorgeous, heavy silk, and depending on the day, he could be wearing his cobalt blue or crimson or green or gold ones. They are often embroidered with fancy designs or flames or dragons or other fearsome creatures. And when he sits down on the throne, they spill over onto the floor magnificently. He could be holding one of several things. Usually he'll have a shaku, or a kind of scepter or baton that he might bang down to call the court to order. You might notice that strangely, there's a pair of iron pliers on the table beside him. I wonder what those are about. So the king of hell is sitting there, his gaze burning into you, and he calls the court to order. Shiroku is commanded to stand up and unscroll the long scroll and start reading a list of all the discretions you've made in life. This will be long and meticulous and humiliating. He will leave nothing out. On the 3rd day of the 6th month of your 9th year, you stole a piece of cake from the fridge and blamed it on your little brother. Things like that. But also included are broken promises, selfish thoughts, and casual lies. And you are forced to stand there and listen to them all. Then comes another genius bit of story. Remember the Oni that has the mirror? Well, that mirror is called Johari no Kagami, cleansing crystal mirror or mirror of karma. It's full length, and he turns it toward you. Here, gazing at your reflection, you not only see your past, but you feel it. You feel the pain and heartache and despair that you caused everyone. You're forced to experience the consequences of your actions from the perspective of those you wronged. And then you'll feel genuinely a torrent of guilt, shame, and empathy. I'm sure you're fine, but those tyrants running around, oof. Here, Enmadayo asks, "What say you?" You may be tempted to defend yourself and make excuses. Don't do it. Remember those pliers? Tell the truth. Acknowledge your misdeeds and feel the remorse. Masama is very well known for pulling out the tongues of people who lie. I'm confident that you'll get reborn as a really kind human who has a lot of power and passion to help others. But other people, they get to experience the creativity and poetic justice of Buddhist hells. Like murderers or those who take any life at all. They get to experience a kind of battle royale or Hunger Games situation where they're armed with iron claws and have to tear each other to pieces. Then an Oni shouts, "Revive, revive," and a cold wind blows and all the bodies are made whole again. and the fight starts over and over and over. Where anyone who has lusted over somebody will continually meet the most alluring person ever. Someone totally irresistible who is like, hey, come on, give me a hug. But when they run up to them to give them that hug, they turn into burning pillars or razor blades or both. Or how about those who have ever watered down sake or who just drink too much in general? They get to consume a never-ending stream of molten copper, which fills them up and pours out of all their orifices. They're given a moment to recover, and then have it happen all over again and again, forever and ever. So like I said, you're good, you're fine. Surely you've never swatted a mosquito or lusted after anyone, or God forbid, you've never watered down any sake. Thank you all for listening. I will talk to you again in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening to Uncanny Japan. If you enjoy learning about these more elusive topics with me, I'd love to invite you into more of my uncanny world. For exclusive content and monthly bedtime stories read by me, consider joining my Patreon community. Then there are my books. The Book of Japanese Folklore is a small, beautifully illustrated encyclopedia and deep dive into 45 yokai and mythical figures. My horror short story collection, The Carp-Faced Boy and Other Tales, now has an audio version, also read by me and perfect to fall asleep to. And coming out in November is the Yokai Oracle Deck. 60 yokai matched with wise Japanese idioms, phrases, and those extremely nuanced words that have no equivalent in English, but you've always wanted to know how to say. You can pre-order those if you'd like. There's a clickable thumbnail on the Uncanny Japan website labeled Oracle Cards. Thank you so much for listening. Stay safe and well, and I'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.